All right, hey guys, what's up? Welcome back. We're gonna do another dive into my training for this past week. I got a lot of really good responses from last week, and so I thought I would just do another quick one. Doing these on Sunday afternoon, trying not to put a ton of editing effort into it, just trying to get out and just kind of explain my training over the last week. And for those of you that don't tune into the Tuesday night live shows, we kind of talk about a little bit of this kind of stuff, and there's a lot of opportunity for people to ask questions, which is really awesome. But for those of you that can't make it on Tuesday, we're going to do it right now. So we're going to talk about 5 things during this video. We're going to talk about my overall stats for the week. We're going to walk through each one of my workouts just really quickly. I'm not trying to get super boring on this video. We're going to talk about the goals for the week, whether or not I hit them. We're going to talk about highs and lows from the week, and then we're going to maybe plan a little bit for next week. So starting off, stats for the week. I actually started filming this video and then realized that one of my workouts hadn't synced from Thursday. So I sunk it, and now I've got some better stats than I thought I did. This week was not the best week for running and training. It was still pretty good. I had a good week. It was just not what I was hoping for. So I did 37.8 miles and 14,776 feet of gain. And some of the reasons why I kind of missed my targets, which I was going to talk about this later, but my goals for each week is 55 miles and 17,000 feet of gain. If I can do that every week, or at least average that every week, I will hit 1,000 miles and 300,000 feet of vert before the Cruel Jewel, which is May 14th. And I think I'm going to have some weeks where I miss it, some weeks where I go over. So the average is what I'm looking for over the next 3 to 4 months. So this week I missed the mileage by quite a bit. And honestly, this was really due to kind of 2 things. Work got super stressful. On Monday, I got something dropped in my lap that was a really large project on top of everything else I already do at my job. And so I was pretty much working I was working twice as hard during the day, and then I was also working into the nights, and it was a really rough week. So kind of due to that, I think due to the added stress, I also started getting these really debilitating headaches every day that would start kind of around the end of the morning and then last all the way through the night. And by Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, I was actually it was just a continuous headache. I woke up with it in the morning and it just lasted all day. But I was still able to, get a couple videos out. I was able to do the live stream on Tuesday night, which I'm really happy about. So it didn't really derail YouTube very much. But one of the things it did derail was how much kind of training I could do. And that's one thing that when you get sick or when there's extra stress in your life, one of the first things that sometimes has to go is a little bit of that training volume or training intensity, because I kind of talk about this all the time, on this channel, but as a coach, I'm always talking to my athletes about how your body can only take a certain amount of stress, or you're trying to put a certain amount of stress on it for whatever training block you're in. And the body can't always tell the difference between running stress and work stress and family stress. Quite often, it all looks the same to the body. This is one of those weeks where my body just accumulated a lot more stress from an area that it wasn't used to getting that much stress from. And so one of the things that had to give was some of my running. But we'll talk about that as we get into this. On Monday, my goal for the run was just a 60-minute recovery run. And I did 60 minutes, but it wasn't much running. It was mostly hiking. This was kind of that day where I realized that, okay, this week is about to fall apart because of what's happening at work. And I was just kind of trying to get my mind around it and just needed to hike for a while. Tuesday was a really rough day. I actually barely had 30 minutes to run on Tuesday with everything that was going on. And so I just got a quick mile, and then I hiked for a little bit, 3 miles, 1,000 feet of vert. But it was really just putting a few points on the scoreboard. And nothing else because I couldn't even really think about running that day. Wednesday was supposed to be another 60-minute recovery run. And I did end up getting 5 miles, which was nice, 2,000 feet of vert. So I kind of did mile repeats here. So I kind of warmed up a little bit, as you can see, and then did a mile at about 8:30 pace, and then hiked a mile, did another mile about 8:30 pace, and then hiked a little bit as well. So by Wednesday, I had only ran 12 miles, but I had a few thousand feet of vert, so that was nice. But then Thursday, it all like started to come crashing down because Thursday was the really, really busy day at work. I was able to get 45 minutes in, but just really bad headache, like starting in the morning. I don't know, this was a really, really tough week. Friday, work stuff started to ease up just a little bit, and I was able to go out on a run outside. That's where I filmed the first impressions, like Saucony Triumph 18 run during, and that was like so nice to just be able to put on a brand new pair of shoes and go out for a run, and it really felt good. But the problem was I only got 31 feet of elevation gain. Like, that's nothing. That's horrible for my goals as to what I'm trying to do to train for the Cruel Jewel. But it was really fun to run outside. Saturday was a big one, and you can see on the screen, it's just a whole bunch of spikes. And I'll show you, we'll do this elevation and hide the others. Like, that's all I did. I didn't run flat for more than maybe half a mile. I went into it just knowing that I only had about 4 hours to go for a run on Saturday, just because of like family stuff. Like my wife had to be somewhere late afternoon, and so I had to get home and make sure that everything was settled before all that happened. So I only had a couple hours, but I wanted to see, I kind of was driving over there and I just had this idea. I was like, I want to see how fast I can get 5,000 feet of gain. And this isn't like, you know, a 5,000 foot mountain where I'm just trying to run up it. I'm actually like running up 100-foot hills and then down and 100-foot hills. So there's kind of a lot of stopping, starting, stopping, starting. And so I didn't really know what I was going to be able to do, but I ended up getting 5,000 feet in just about 3 hours and 20 minutes, which was awesome. I felt really good about that. I took a 10-minute break at the car too. So that was a really, really good run. And I kind of like proved to myself that, okay, like I am becoming a better climber, a better descender. Like I'm getting, I don't know, do you call yourselves that in running? But I'm getting much better at climbing. And this treadmill that I've got is just doing absolute wonders for my training. A lot of people have been asking what I think about treadmill vert versus outdoor vert. And I'll just jump in here and I'll say this, that it's definitely not the same. Definitely not. There are so many more things that your body is working on when you're outside running on trails, like all the undulating rocks and roots and everything, and you're strengthening all those tendons and ligaments and muscles. You're also having to think a lot more, and so you're training your mind and your body. You're getting a much, much better workout when you're getting vertical outside, and then you also have to go down, which definitely helps a lot in training because most races, if you go up, you're going to come down. But on the same hand, I don't really have that much opportunity to go out and run hills or mountains. I don't have a mountain right outside my back door. I live in Indiana. I have to drive 20 minutes just to get to a place where I can climb a 100-foot hill. But that's not possible with my situation. So having a treadmill is making it possible for me to actually get similar work in. And even though I'm not training the downhills as much as I'm training uphills right now, even though I'm not training running on rocks and roots all the time, I'm still getting a much better training stress than I would be had I just be running roads like the last 20 years of my running. So a lot of people have asked me, I'm thinking about getting a treadmill. Is it worth it? Because I've heard a lot, or I don't really think that it's the same running on a treadmill and running outdoors on trails. And the answer is no, it's definitely not. But if you're training for mountain races and you're not getting X amount of feet per week and you think you should be, maybe you can get a treadmill and like bridge that gap just a little bit. It's not going to be the same, but it is going to help much more than just running on flat roads. So there's that little thing. Today my run was pretty chill, just 6 miles. I was able to kind of do a little bit of a step up in pace as I went, and then once I hit like the 3-mile mark, I just started hiking for a while and just hit 6 miles and 2,500 feet of vert to end the week at 37.8 miles and 14,776 feet of vert. So I'm a little bit behind in my goal now by about 2,500 feet and probably somewhere around like 25 miles after 3 weeks of 2021. But I'm really not worried about it because I'm doing the best I can. And it's not like I missed these goals because I was slacking off. I missed them because of extra stress that was dropped in my lap this week. Let's talk about highs and lows. Highs was definitely my run yesterday. My run outside on the trails, just getting 5,000 feet of vert as quickly as I could. Got 10 miles in the process and wore the new Hoka Torrent 2s, which were really fun shoes to run in. That was definitely the high of the week, just being able to be outside. It was like 25 degrees, but it was sunny, and it was just great. The low of the week was definitely the added stress that just rocked my training and the headaches that happened every day. And it was Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday straight. And it was just, seriously, it was not fun. So moving on to next week, we've got 16 weeks until the Cruel Jewel. I'm going to take this as my rest week, even though that's kind of questionable. I didn't get as much rest as far as the stress that was placed on my body as I would have during a normal rest week, but I did get a little bit less pounding on my legs. So I'm going to use that as a rest week, and I'm going to try to move forward with a new block of 3 weeks of training starting now, and I'm going to do one more like VO2 max block. And so what I'm going to try and do is, if things work out, I'm going to have 2 sessions on the treadmill where I'm running uphill at 15%, getting like 3 minutes at VO2 max and then 1.5 minutes of rest. So those are really, really hard workouts. And then I'm going to have another workout where it's just a little bit of extra intensity for like a mile at a time. And then next weekend, hopefully get a really solid, like my goal for next weekend is to finally hit a 20 miler for this 2021. It's been a while since I've hit a 20 miler, and I just need to go out and I need to just let the legs burn for like 6 hours. So in 6 hours, because I'm going to be training like 20 miles and like maybe like 7,000 or 8,000 feet of vert. But yeah, that's the plan for this week. As long as the body cooperates, we will have a much happier story to tell during next week's weekly review of my training for the Cruel Jewel. If you guys have questions about my training, definitely drop a comment down below. And if it's something that maybe I can address in a video, maybe it'll show up next week. But that's it. Thank you guys for stopping by. I'll see you again soon. Bye.